Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto gained control over Kyuubi's chakra before the Chunin finals, part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Amazing. To think that he fought in the prelims 2 days ago and started water walking yesterday with half of his chakra sealed and his control down the tubes, and yet when his chakra is normal, he can't even manage to summon a baby toad. Why is it that he can't expel enough chakra at once to summon, when he can make 1,000 clones? Thought Jiraiya as he looked away from the beautiful young woman swimming in the lake next to the clearing that Naruto was training in. Maybe it's the fox. When Kyuubi was fully sealed away, he had better chakra control. Maybe Kyuubi is messing with his control somehow. Gah! Another tadpole. What am I doing wrong? Questioned Naruto to himself, unaware that Jiraiya was in the tree behind him. Maybe Naruto should meet the fox. Mito once said that she would visit the fox every so often, and Kushina got to the point that she could use the fox's pure chakra. Single quote. Kushina was known as the Red Death because of her hair, and when she was ever in a pinch, she would start to radiate red chakra. Only Minato, Jiraiya and old man Sarutobi knew that it was actually the fox and not some genjutsu or fire nature chakra. How did those two manage to do it, I wonder? Could it be that they took the fox's power? Oh well, here goes nothing. Even if it doesn't work, I'll just teach him the trick to shadow clone training. Naruto, what would you say if I told you there was a way you could summon the Toad Boss? Asked Jiraiya as he looked down on Naruto from a tree. That he was using to peek on girls. I would do it. I can't let that Tem stay better than me. Shouted an excited, yet very tired Naruto. It was a fact that Naruto hated Sasuke, not because of the special training he got from Kakashi, or even that fact that he was admired, but for the fact that Sasuke had everything handed to him, and never had to actually work for anything. Good. Follow me. Stated Jiraiya as he leapt from the tree and started jogging towards the far end of the training area, Naruto close behind, but having to sprint to keep up with the shockingly fast older man. After only a few minutes of running, which turned out to be about 2 miles, much to Naruto's shock, they arrived at a rather deep canyon. Naruto was panting and cursing at Jiraiya for running so fast, while Jiraiya simply summoned a small gray toad. Gamada, can you inform Sensei that me and Naruto will be training in Foster Canyon for the remainder of the month, and ask him to send the Anbu that guards Naruto? The toad simply nodded and proofed off to the Hokage's office, to deliver his message. Naruto, what did you feel when you used the fox's chakra? Questioned Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. Well. When I saw Sasuke go down, I got really angry, but when I was trying to save Sasuke and Sakura from Snake Face, I felt, I don't know. It was weird, like I wasn't fighting for myself, like I was fighting for something more. Naruto, we're going to the bottom of this canyon, and you're going to talk to the fox, stated Jiraiya. Why would I? He's made my life hell. The only thing he's good for is when I get hurt, and it's usually his fault anyway. Stated Naruto loudly. Well, would you rather switch places? That demon in your gut has probably been staring at the same thing for the last 70 years. You don't know this, but that fox has been sealed 3 times now, and the only time it's been out, it was immediately attacked. Put yourself in that position. Stated Jiraiya as if that explained everything, though at most it raised further questions. What? I thought I was the only one to ever carry this stupid thing. Shouted Naruto. Naruto, you're not the only person in the world that has a demon sealed inside of them, stated Jiraiya. I'm not. Questioned Naruto. No. In fact it's so common that there's a name for them. Jinchuriki, the power of human sacrifice, you've met one of them. Gaara of the desert is a Jinchuriki, stated Jiraiya, a sad smile on his face. But he's the son of the cage. Why would he have a demon sealed inside of him? Questioned Naruto. Most Jinchuriki are related to cages or important people. In Kumo, the container of the 8 tails is a man by the name of Killer Bee, the Raikage's brother. There is another container in Kumo, a blonde woman, I don't know her name or what beast she holds. I'll be honest, the only reason I even know about her is because she caught me peeping, stated Jiraiya, a stupid perverted grin on his face. Guessing she beat the shit out of you? Laughed Naruto. Actually, she asked me to sign her book and not use her in any of my books, stated Jiraiya. What? There's actually a girl out there that reads your books? Asked Naruto. Shut up, Gaki. We're getting off topic. It's your duty as a Jinchuriki to at the very least be able to use your curse, stated Jiraiya seriously. I still don't want to. If it's not my own power, then I don't want to have it, stated Naruto adamantly. Naruto, by that logic, you wouldn't use a kunai or a sword or shuriken or a senbon, stated Jiraiya. Huh, why do you say that? Asked a confused Naruto. It's simple. That demon sealed in your gut is nothing but a tool. If used wrong it can kill you. If you don't learn to use it, it can kill you and everyone around you, and it's one of the best trump cards out there. Seeing Naruto's confusion, Jiraiya slapped his forehead and elaborated, your demon can heal you. If you learn to control its chakra, you could take anything but a killing blow and keep fighting. Imagine that, a Hokage that can take any blow in stride and always come through in the end. Good lord, this kid is more stubborn than his old man and his mother. Minato, Kushina, what do I do to make your son understand? Thought Jiraiya. So, it's just a tool, like a kunai or a sword? Questioned Naruto. I could always just not use it unless I really need it. Well, that was easy. I'll have to remember to just relate everything to him being Hokage from now on, thought Jiraiya. Yes, although a much more robust and powerful tool. And just like any weapon, you have to learn to use it, and unlike other weapons, you will have to earn the right to use this tool. So, how do I go about doing this? Asked Naruto. When I first met Killer Bee, he said he had a mental connection with his beast. Also, it was said that Yagura, the 4th Mizukage, had such control over his beast that he could fully transform into it, stated Jiraiya, more to himself than anything. I guess that you might be able to travel into the seal and speak to him. At the very least, you could ask him to use his chakra whenever you wanted. And how do I do that? Asked Naruto. Like this, shouted Jiraiya as he pushed Naruto over the edge of the massive canyon. Jiraiya then followed after his blonde student, ready to catch him when he finally entered the seal. Or at least before he hit the ground. Meanwhile, Naruto was freaking out. God damn it. How the hell is this supposed to help me? Questioned Naruto as he felt a pull in the back of his mind and blacked out. He was then promptly caught by Jiraiya, and taken to the bottom of the canyon. Mindscape. Where am I? How the hell did I get in a sewer? Asked Naruto as he looked around his surroundings. Seeing that one end of the sewer was bright and the other was dark, he decided to go towards the light. I swear to God, pervy sage, if I'm dead I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your life. I can help with that, came a deep booming voice from where Naruto was heading, but first, I believe we have much to discuss. Naruto walked up in front of a large gate, easily 50 feet tall. Behind the gate, 2 huge blood-red eyes and orange ears were visible. Are you Kyuubi? No, I'm the Easter Bunny. No shit, I'm Kyuubi. Now what is it you want? I hate talking to humans, so make it quick before I choose to eat you. My sensei sent me here so that I could make a connection with you and maybe request the use of some of your chakra. But I have another reason for wanting to speak to you, stated Naruto with confidence and resolve that honestly shocked the chakra entity. Ha 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 ha, and what exactly do you want to know? Depending on the questions, I may let you use some of my chakra. Well, I have a couple of questions. I guess my first is, why does my mind look like a sewer? The second is, why did you attack the village the night I was born? And the third, who were your other hosts? And four, outside of letting you go, what can I do to make you more comfortable while you're here? Quote. I don't know why your mind is a sewer, maybe it's because of your mindset. I was being controlled when I attacked the village. I refuse to go into any more detail than that. My first host was the man who first sealed me, Hashirama's wife. I believe her name was Mito. The second was a woman named Kushina. Reminds me a lot of you, fiery temper, skilled, wanted to be Hokage. Then there's you. Now if you truly want to make my life inside of this seal better, you could give me access to your senses. I'm tired of living closed off from the world. You could also change the size of this cage. It may seem big to you, though I can barely move in this place, stated a much calmer and even friendlier sounding Kyuubi. How would I do that? Asked Naruto, his curiosity skyrocketed by the suddenly not so terrifying Kyuubi. It's your mind, Kit. If I knew I would tell you. My best guess is that if you concentrate hard enough, you can move these things at your will. Naruto closed his eyes and barely a second later, a pulse ripped through his mindscape, shredding everything in its path. Then a second pulse went through his mindscape, turning it into one giant cave with about a dozen doors on both sides and a small path in the back of the cave with a large blinking exit sign above it. Then, Kyuubi's cage expanded in all directions, forming a large grassy valley, surrounded on all sides by mountains and of course the large gate that made up the seal. Kyuubi was shocked. Not only was it beautiful, it was also brilliant. With mountains on all sides, it didn't truly feel like he was trapped anymore. The grass felt great on his paws. There was a massive tree in the back that looked like it would be great for napping under. And finally, because of the drop-off, Naruto and Kyuubi now stood eye to eye. That's when Kyuubi felt it. He could feel everything going on around Naruto, the perverted one setting up camp. A small fox was currently staring at Naruto from afar. Somewhere, a blonde with large was losing a lot of money. A snake was cutting open an orange, a scarecrow was creating a lot of lightning, and a bowl-cut man was somehow doing push-ups with his chin. Wow, that was easier than I thought, stated Naruto. You have proven yourself to me, Kit. I'm going to give you a gift, but first, I must tell you of my origins. Kit questioned Naruto. You've just done more for me than any human since the man that created me. You see, all 9 Biju are all originally from one being. An ever-powerful beast that created the oceans and continents. It was the Jubi. It had no emotions, no thoughts, it was just a giant mass of immeasurable energy. That is until it was sealed into a single man. On the Mon's deathbed, he released the Jubi, separated its power from its body and used it to create the 9 Biju. Each of us have a power from the great beast. Mine is its ability to harness natural energy and convert it to my own, so I can never run out. My last container earned enough of my respect to use just under a tael of my power. You on the other hand have earned everything. I'm giving you full, unrestricted control of all of my powers. And my true name, Kit, is Kurama. I'm going to give you full control of my powers, my chakra, my senses, hell, even my techniques, though you'll have to modify them, trailed of Kurama as it sat in the middle of the cage, pondering how a tiny boy would be able to perform his 2 best attacks. Really? Why? Asked Naruto. He had never really been given anything, other than his goggles and his wallet. Because Kit, You've done more for me than almost anyone else. You earned my respect when you made my life easier, even though you could have made it even worse. Plus, it's pointless having basically unlimited chakra go to waste, stated Kurama. What about that other stuff? You said all your powers and senses as well? Questioned Naruto. For the love of Kami, you ask a lot of questions. At least this way I won't have to explain as much later. Other than pure chakra, each tailed beast got a power, or in my case, several. The first I already told you about, being able to gather natural energy, though it's only when I don't move. The second, as a mass of rage and hatred myself, I can sense negative emotions, as well as any chakra-producing beings, and in some cases, even what their intentions are based on their chakra flow. The third, is rapid regeneration. My chakra, contrary to what you may think, is a multiplier. Anything exposed to my chakra kicks into overdrive. Say you get a huge gash on your arm, send my chakra to it, and it will heal several times faster. You can also use it on muscles to increase your power and speed, and even on your eyes, brain and nervous system, so that you can react it much faster, stated Kyuubi. That's so cool. Thank you, Lord Kurama, yelled Naruto in glee. Hold up, Kit. Don't call me Lord, it irritates me. Second, you will have to work for it. As you will have to separate my chakra from me, stated Kurama. Huh, why do I have to do that? Wouldn't that hurt you? Questioned Naruto. Because, my rage and malice are intertwined with my chakra. If you break that connection, you can use the full dose of my chakra without losing it like you did on the bridge, stated Kurama, though I doubt you will be able to use a full dose of the bat. You're going to need chakra control exercise to manipulate the flow of my chakra and regulate it, otherwise it will throw off everything and leave you extremely vulnerable. Okay, that makes sense, but how do I do it? Asked Naruto. Pull the seal off the gate, connect with my chakra and pull it out of me, stated Kurama. Hold the hell up. I have to remove my seal. You would just escape then, stated Naruto. No, the seal on the gate is the bar or seal that keeps me from attacking you. The full seal is probably hidden somewhere that neither of us are aware exists. If you don't believe me, look at the seal on the door. Does it look anything like the one on your gut? Questioned Kurama. Naruto drew a blank as he looked at the seal on the cage. Kurama was right. Where the one on his gut was a spiral, this one was a kanji for barrier. So I just pull this off and then I take your chakra. More or less. Well, here it goes, stated Naruto as he reached up and pulled the seal off the cage. Outside world. You requested me, Lord Jiraiya? Questioned a cat-masked Anbu, both men standing at the bottom of Foster Canyon, next to the large stream that ran down the middle. Tenzo, there's no need to be so formal with me. If I didn't care when I found you in Orochimaru's lab, I don't care now, stated Jiraiya. Fine. You requested me, Jiraiya. Questioned Tenzo as he took his mask off, revealing a brown-haired man with coal-black eyes and a helmet-style forehead protector. Yes, I'm going to be helping Naruto in using Kyuubi's chakra, and I want you here in case something goes wrong, stated Jiraiya. But he's only 12. Surely he can't be ready yet. What about the fox's influence? Questioned Tenzo. Well, 1, that's why you're here, 2, he's used it before, and 3, we both know that he is not your standard 12-year-old, stated Jiraiya. So, when do we being? And what will we be doing? Questioned Tenzo. Well, if Naruto can obtain a portion of Kyuubi's chakra, we will be training in that. On top of that, we're going to use shadow clones to begin fixing the flaws in his taijutsu, try and teach him some genjutsu, or at least how to break them, and I'll start teaching him the Rasengan, listed off Jiraiya. You can do that with shadow clones? I thought they only transferred memory. Stated Tenzo. Ah, but muscle memory is just that, memory. I'm still not sure how I should go about teaching him taijutsu though, stated Jiraiya. What do you mean? He seems perfect for Lord Yondaimi's flash fist, all we would have to do is bring his speed up. Stated Tenzo, already exited to train the boy he had watched over as an infant. No, he's like me, too unpredictable to have a set taijutsu style, and his in-battle intelligence when coming up with plans, from what Kakashi told me and from what I saw at the preliminaries, I believe is even greater than Itachi's. I'm thinking of just having him learn a bunch of strikes, blocks, dodges, counters and maybe even counter-counters if we have time. He can piece together a working combo in a fight, stated Jiraiya. Tenzo was stunned. He was a few years older than Itachi and remembers clearly just how intelligent the man was when he was partnered with him under Kakashi. To hear that a genin, even one with Naruto's parentage, was even greater than the prodigy, or as many knew him, slaughterer of the Uchiha, was mind-blowing. Kakashi Senpai said that, no, but from the report that was written, in less than 2 seconds, Naruto came up with a plan that forced Zabuza Momochi to release Kakashi when he got caught in a water prison. I've also watched the tape from his match in the Chunin exams when he beat the Inuzuka with a fart and an improvised taijutsu move he saw once from another genin, stated Jiraiya with a smirk. Well, we can both teach him the strikes and blocks to the clones as they learn chakra control, how to break genjutsu and the beginning of the Rasengan. Unknown. Minato-kun, he released the barrier. Which one of us should go? Asked Kushina with tears in her eyes, knowing that he would say himself, and it would be the last time she ever saw him. Neither of us will go, stated Minato calmly as he watched his son struggle with all his might to pull the chakra from the beast, and surprisingly, was almost an eighth the way done. He had to admit, this was going way faster than he expected. Idiot. Why wouldn't one of us go? He needs help, stated Kushina angrily. He's fine, dear. Look, the Kyuubi is letting him take its chakra. Why go now when he doesn't need us and risk not being there when he truly does? Questioned Minato. Kushina knew her husband was right, and that her little Naruto didn't need them at the moment, but god damn it, she wanted to be there for this. You better hope to Kami that he needs us more at some point, because if he doesn't, I'm going to kill you. Sorry dear, I'm already dead, and so are you, stated Minato cheekily. Fine, I'll just use my 1,000 years of painful death, stated Kushina. With Naruto and Kurama, come on Kit, you're almost halfway there, ground out the fox, who was beginning to feel the immense strain that went along with having your chakra forcibly removed. Naruto said nothing as he continued to rip the chakra from the massive beast. With strained eyes he watched as the fox began to wither to skin and bones. The fox apparently knew what the young blonde was thinking as it ground out, I'll recover, just whatever you do, do not stop. The backlash will kill us both. Now keep going, you're almost there. Naruto grunted as he gave another big pull, but to no avail as he only succeeded in gaining another notch of chakra. Come on, god damn it, shouted Naruto as he gave another big pull, this time succeeding in loosening Kyuubi's grasp on its chakra. You're close, Kit. One more pull. Outside world. Tenzo and Jiraiya were standing under a dome that Tenzo had made as a shelter from the rain that had started just minutes ago. Jiraiya, just how potent is Kyuubi's chakra? I've never actually needed to suppress it, so I'd like to have a heads up for when he uses it. We both know the feeling that chakra gives off. You were young at the time, but I'm sure you remember when it attacked, stated Jiraiya. Tenzo nodded. Well, as powerful as it felt, just imagine it being twice as strong. Tenzo stood shocked. He remembered it being unreal how strong the fox was, to be twice as strong as that. Suddenly, A burst of pure power emanated from the sleeping boy beside them. But as fast as it came, it was gone. Well, guess he succeeded. Wonder how much he got the Kyuubi to cough up. Mindscape. Naruto stood in awe of the giant floating orb of red chakra that now completely lit up the cave in a sunset-like glow. Kurama wasn't much better, as it shakily stood and looked at its own chakra, which it somehow could still feel, hovered about 10 feet in the air on the far right side of the cave, 8 pillars surrounding it. Kurama, are you okay? Questioned Naruto, seeing the fox roughly the size of a small house, and still skin and bones. Yay kit. Just need to withdraw some energy from the nature around us. I'll be back to full, in about a year. If you use a lot of my chakra, it will take longer, but I'll be able to replenish whatever you use in roughly a month. Panted Kurama. Now if you don't mind, I need to sleep to regain energy at a decent rate. When can I start using your chakra? Asked Naruto. Whenever you want, though I wouldn't use any more than 2% flow at a time. It should just under 3 taels. How is 2% 3 taels worth? Asked a confused Naruto. My taels are unlike the other Biju. My first tael of my power is roughly 1/3%, my second is 2/3%. My third tael is roughly 1% and 1/3. It's exponential. Add the first 3 taels together and you get 2 1/3% of my chakra. That's why I'm so much more powerful than the other Biju. Naruto watched as the downsized fox staggered over to the giant tree behind it and lay down in the shade. Okay, I'll let ya sleep. See you later Kurama. Unknown. See Kushina-chan. I told you that he would be fine. Stated Minato. I know, I just wish there was some way we could help him out, or at least congratulate him, stated a sad Kushina. If you wish, I can deliver a message to someone, stated a deathly sounding voice behind the duo. The spun to see a translucent figure in all white with long white hair. Shinigami-sama, it's not what it looks like, stated a startled Minato. Be calm Minato. I've known of you using the seal to watch your son's life. Do you forget that part of me is incorporated into it? Questioned the death god. Minato simply hung his head. Now, as I see it, taking control of young Kyuubi's chakra is cause to celebrate. After all, he is the first human to do so in a very long time. What is the message you wish to deliver, and to whom? Tell my little boy that we're proud of him and that. No. Kushina was cut off by Minato. What do you mean no? I will you in the with my katana if you try to keep me from praising my baby. Shouted Kushina, getting a sweat drop from the Shinigami. He can't know about us yet. He's still at a troublesome stage in his life. I don't want his heritage going to his head, stated Minato. Kushina glared at him, but said nothing, understanding that Minato was right. Shinigami-sama, could you possibly tell Hiruzen Sarutobi to give Naruto my old jacket and something from my wife? As well as the keys to our old apartment, after striping it of any pictures of me. He can leave everything of Kushina's. But of course, what would you like to give the boy? Questioned Shinigami as it looked at Kushina. Everything in the apartment, as well as my specialty Konoha headband and my Uzu headband, stated Kushina with a small, but true smile. As well as a letter from me, if you would, Shinigami-sama, stated a gruff, gravel-like voice. Jiraiya and Tenzo, good to see you're awake Gaki. How much chakra did you get? Questioned Jiraiya. From that burst of power earlier, I'm guessing a lot. A lot of what? Suddenly, 2 people dropped down from the dome and walked closer, showing themselves to be Kakashi and Sasuke. What are you 2 doing here? Questioned Naruto in a less than friendly tone. We're training upstream of here and felt the surge of power. We decided to check it out, stated Kakashi lazily. What was that power before? Demanded Sasuke, much to the displeasure of Naruto and Jiraiya. None of your business Tem, stated Naruto coldly. Well, is it any of my business? Questioned Kakashi, getting a hateful glare from Naruto, which seemed to confuse Kakashi. It would have been your business, had you not ditched me 2 days ago to train Sasuke. If I remember right, something about Sasuke needs my attention more than you do. Questioned Naruto. Jiraiya and Tenzo were shocked. Kakashi Hatake playing favorites. He was team before self, how could he possibly play favorites? Kakashi Senpai, surely you didn't say that, did you? Questioned Tenzo. Yes, I said that, and Sasuke does need my attention more than Naruto does. If Naruto loses, he will live, if Sasuke loses, there's no way he would make it out alive, stated Kakashi. That's understandable. But how did you know Sasuke would be fighting Gaara? I mean, you've been giving him special training since we passed the bell test. Stated Naruto, his glare holding. I taught you all equally, it's not my fault that Sasuke is a faster learner than you, stated Kakashi. You taught me tree climbing. Other than that, all you've ever done is say I need better chakra control and then not tell me how to improve it. Stated Naruto as he started subconsciously drawing on Kyuubi's chakra, giving him a barely visible eerie glow. You should have done more tree climbing. Stated Kakashi, that's more than enough for a genin. I find that hard to believe. Naruto learned water walking in less than 2 hours. If the Uchiha can learn faster than that, he would be a Jonin by now. Stated Jiraiya, growing angrier and angrier at the silver-haired Jonin. Well, it took him almost 5 days to learn tree climbing, stated Kakashi. The Gaki has more chakra than you and Tenzo combined. An academy student can learn tree climbing. Tell me, when you have cage-level reserves, what would be harder? Tree climbing, or water walking? Stated Jiraiya. Peef. Like the Dobi has more chakra than me, stated Sasuke. He does, in fact, he has as much as the Sandaime did when he trained me, stated Jiraiya. Now Kakashi, if you claim to have helped them the same, tell me, did you at least give him a scroll to help him train? In fact I did. I got Ebisu to train him, stated Kakashi confidently. He may not have been able to train his student, but Guy's old teammate was an elite instructor. Ebisu. Ebisu. You think that you helped him by getting Ebisu to train him? You were there when Ebisu openly stated that he hated Naruto. Shouted Jiraiya. Leave Kakashi, before I kill you myself. You're a disgrace to your sensei and to your father. Kakashi left without word, though it was easy to see he was shaking with rage. Sasuke followed after staring at Naruto for a second. Let's go see the old man. There's no way I'm teaching you anything with those two so close by, stated Jiraiya. Meanwhile, with Sarutobi, what was that surge of power? Surely Naruto hasn't learned to harness Kyuubi's power already, questioned Hiruzen as he moved to grab his crystal ball. Indeed he did, came a deathly voice behind Sarutobi. With speed he hadn't used in almost 10 years, Hiruzen had backflipped out of his chair and stabbed a kunai into the back of the man that had somehow got past all his anbu, only to find that the stab hadn't hit anything. Now Hiruzen, I'm not surprised you'd still be skilled, but was it really needed to attempt to kill me? Questioned the spectral figure. Shish Shinigami, stuttered the old cage. Now Hiruzen, calm down, I'm not here to take you. Simply here to deliver a message from some people who have passed on, stated Shinigami. I've temporarily put your Anbu to sleep. So do not worry. Who? Questioned Hiruzen. Minato and Kushina, as well as a young man who also died before his time. Anyway, Minato says that he wants you to give his son his jacket, but don't inform him that he is Minato's son. Kushina wants you to give Naruto her old headbands, as well as their old apartment. After removing everything of Minato's that is, stated Shinigami as he dug into his robe and pulled out a folded sheet of paper. Ah, here it is. Give this to Naruto. Tell him it came in from Wave yesterday. Farewell, Hokage. As the spectral image of the Shinigami faded, it was replaced by Jiraiya. As Sarutobi shook his head to clear its cobwebs, he noticed that both Tenzo and Naruto were standing by his sides. Old man, are you alright? Questioned Naruto. Yes, I believe I am, stated the old man slowly before looking to Naruto. What is your progress so far? Well, I met Kurama, changed his cage, he let me have his chakra, I took it, and now he's sleeping. He said it would take a lot of work to use his chakra to the max, but I should be able to use about 2% of it, stated Naruto, as three jaws hit the floor. Hold the up, Gaki. Kurama, how did you change his cage? He let you have his chakra. And 2%. How much is that? Questioned Jiraiya with wide eyes. In the corner, the always quiet Tenzo was simply unable to do anything as his brain had shut down. In order. Kyuubi's real name is Kurama. It was my mindscape, so I just thought about it and it worked. He said that he liked me, and as thanks for making his life in my seal more bearable, he let me take his chakra, stated Naruto before he started scratching his head. He said something about each tail was exponential to the one before it, but I forgot the rest, hehe. That's amazing, Naruto. Truly amazing, stated Sarutobi. I have some things you should have. Your mother left me some things for you when I thought you ready. Also, this came for you yesterday. Naruto looked dumbstruck as he took the folder piece of paper. My mother. But you said you didn't know who my parents were. Gaki. Your mother was an S-class kunoichi. We couldn't let anyone know you were her child, or you could be in even more trouble than you ended up in, stated Jiraiya seriously. She had many enemies in both Kumo and Kiri, as well as here in Konoha. Who was she? Asked Naruto in a quiet voice. Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha's Red Death, stated Jiraiya. Naruto just looked at Jiraiya in confusion. Sarutobi walked over to his personal bookcase and pulled out a small package. Now, Naruto, I'm sorry I waited till now to tell you of your mother. Her will that she left you is still intact, but will take about a week to gather. Until then, these are your mother's headbands. Headbands? Like more than one? Questioned Naruto. Yes. You see, your mother was originally from the village of Uzushiogakure. It was destroyed near the end of the Second Great War, and she came here. The spiral headband is an Uzushio headband, stated Sarutobi, holding up a plain headband with a vortex on it. He then held up another headband, this one a Konoha headband, but the metal was black, and the leaf symbol was red. This headband is given to the commander of the Anbu. It's made of chakra conductive metal, and the red symbol symbolized your mother, the Red Death. Can I wear it? Asked Naruto. Yes, you may. We retired those style of headband from Anbu after your mother died, so there won't be any confusion, stated Sarutobi with a kind smile. Now I believe I handed you a letter. Naruto looked at the piece of paper he had dropped on the floor and began to read it aloud. Dear brat. Yay. It's for me. If you're reading this, then it's obvious that you survived and that I have not. I have decided that if you do indeed defeat Haku, as I'm sure you would be the one to do it, that you will continue my legacy and take my sword. Don't get all sappy on me. The only other choices I have is Hataki and that water punk, and I'm sure as hell not giving my sword to a monkey or a puddle. Anyway, you are now the wielder of my sword. Don't worry, in our hideout, about 2 miles or so north of the bridge, is instructions and materials needed for the upkeep. Don't fail my judgment. Zabuza. P.S. He left me his sword, muttered Naruto before he passed out and collapsed to the floor, his mother's headbands in his left hand, the letter in his right. Must have been too much for him, stated Tenzo, who had finally recovered enough to form full sentences. I'd imagine that it would be. Finding out about your mother and being left the sword of Zabuza Momochi. I'd probably pass out too, stated Jiraiya, who had been reading over the blonde's shoulder. Listen, sensei. I'm gonna take Naruto to get that sword and train him along the way. I request that you assign Tenzo to me so that he can help with Naruto, training in Kyuubi's chakra. Approved. While you're there, perhaps you could improve relations, stated Sarutobi as he wrote up an order for a B rank retrieval mission. That won't be a problem. We can get there in a day and spend 3 weeks training, stated Jiraiya, more to himself than anything. Why would you be training there? Would it not be more beneficial to train here? Questioned the old man. Surprisingly, it was Naruto who answered. Kurama's chakra is too powerful. The only safe place to train is in Foster Canyon, and the teams are training there. It wouldn't do me any good for Sasuke or Hatake to see anything I might learn. Why would you say that, Naruto? Kakashi is your sensei and Sasuke your teammate? Questioned Sarutobi. He had heard that Team 7 was close and that they had perfect teamwork. It was Jiraiya that filled in the blanks. I believe Kakashi is favoring Sasuke heavily. As you know, I've read every team progress report I could on the Gaki, and in every one it shows both the Gaki and his female teammate improve roughly the same and the Uchiha improving in leaps and bounds. Well, Sasuke is a genius. After all, he was Rookie of the Year, stated Sarutobi. I watched Naruto learn water walking in under an hour. Interrupted Jiraiya. Anyone who can learn water walking in an hour, and has reserves as big as you did 30 years ago, should have no problem learning anything with a capable instructor. Sarutobi's forehead crinkled at the thought of that. Even Tsunade had not learned water walking that fast. And he does indeed have monstrous reserves. Perhaps Kakashi has been playing favorites. But has he done anything detrimental to either student? He left me to train by myself for the finals, and when I confronted him about it, he brought me that closet pervert that says he's training Konohamaru, stated Naruto, a small amount of killing intent radiating off of the blonde. From this moment forth, Naruto, you are no longer part of Team 7. For now, I will have an investigation into Kakashi's behavior and teachings. That will tell us just how much he has played favorites, stated Sarutobi in an angered voice. For now, you three will go to Wave, train Naruto and be back here the day before the finals. Gigi. If I'm not on Team 7 anymore, who is my sensei? Questioned Naruto. Jiraiya will be. And when he isn't in the village, Tenzo will be. Seeing as you're getting a sword, he can teach you the basics. I will work on getting a suitable Kenjutsu teacher for you after the Chunin exams. Stated Sarutobi. Thank you, Gigi. Smiled Naruto. It's not a problem, Naruto. After all, I can't have the man that's going to replace me being held back, now can I? Smiled the old man, who once again got up and walked over to the cabinet to the right of the door and pulled out a scroll that had a yellow casing over it. The man that this belonged to would be proud of you. He would want you to have this. Please wait until you're on your way to Wave to open it. Is that all, old man? Questioned Jiraiya as he watched the blonde examine the scroll for a second before shrugging and placing it in his pocket. He watched as his old sensei nodded. All right, then we're off. See you in a month, sensei. At the gate. Okay, it's already getting late, so to get there as fast as possible, we're going to take a toad. So go ahead and summon one, stated Jiraiya. Pervy sage. I can't, remember, stated Naruto. Just humor me, put as much in as you do for say, 100 clones, stated Jiraiya. Alright, here it goes. Summoning Jutsu. A huge cloud of smoke enveloped the trio as they rocketed into the air. Hello, Jiraiya. Might I ask what you summoned me for? Asked the large scarlet-red frog. It wasn't me Gamaken. It was young Naruto here, stated Jiraiya. I see. Then what can I assist you with, Naruto? Can you bring us to the bridge that connects Fire Country to Wave Country? Asked Naruto. There's a bridge now. I can try. Please hold on tight. I'm rather clumsy, stated Gamaken as he took off with a giant leap, forcing Naruto to roll down his back before he caught himself onto the large shield. Gaki recovered much faster than his father did the first time he rode Gamabunta. Unknown. He's growing up so fast, cried Kushina as she held onto Minato. Kushina, I wouldn't mind this normally, but, stated Minato, I've seen worse. Though I never would have thought that the Red Death and Yellow Flash would be so emotional, stated the gruff voice beside the couple. Though I guess that explains the orange. This coming from the young man that killed his entire class because they bullied the girl you loved? Asked Kushina with a sly smile. I have no idea what you're talking about, stated Zabuza with a faint blush on his face. Oh, so you wouldn't mind if, say, our little Naruto just so happened to charm a certain redhead, stated Kushina in a sing-song voice. Minato watched as the young swordsman in front tensed slightly. With a smirk he said, perhaps Shinigami-sama would allow another message. I'm sure that any woman would love to meet the son of a Kage and an Anbu commander. And with his father's good looks and huge assets, added Kushina. And not to mention he has the ability to change people for the better, added Minato. Enough. Just so you all know, if anyone was to earn her heart, I would want it to be the man who helped me to die a human, when I had spent my life as a demon, stated Zabuza. A peaceful smile reached his eyes. Suddenly, Minato saw an image of Kakashi. Tell me, Zabuza, what exactly did my son do to gain your respect? Even when I was alive it was known that you respected almost no one. The only thing we saw was Naruto breaking some weird mirror and defeating a hunter nin, states Minato. Kushina, seeing his questioning look, decided to explain, we only saw things happen in Naruto's seal and when he uses Kyuubi's chakra. Though now that Shinigami gave us this viewing window, we can see everything. Well, I guess we got the time. I gotta start at the beginning for you to understand. Great Naruto Bridge, Zabuza entrance. This bridge is named after the man that saved Wave not only from a tyrant, but also, from itself. We name this bride in honor of Naruto Uzumaki, one of the 3 heroes of Wave. Read of Tenzo before shifting to another golden plaque. This entrance on the Great Naruto Bridge is named after the demon of the hidden mist, Zabuza Momochi, who at the cost of his own life, ended Gato's reign. Jiraiya whistles. Impressive. This bridge is very impressive. It's too bad they named it after the brat. When Naruto hadn't retorted, Jiraiya and Tenzo looked over to the young man, only to see him standing before Zabuza's plaque. It's because of you and Haku that I'm as strong as I am today. I swear on my life that I will become even stronger and keep your memories and dreams alive. I'll be right there with you, Kit. Thank you, Kurama. Thought Naruto, glad to see you're up. Naruto. Gaki. You are right? Questioned Jiraiya. A worried tone carried his voice. Yay. Better than ever. You two have given me more than anyone else ever has. You gave me beliefs to fall back on, the determination to become strong enough to protect all those precious to me. And now Zabuza, you give me your second most prized possession. Stated Naruto as he stared down at the graves that held Haku and Zabuza. Jiraiya and Tenzo were in town picking up some supplies, and had left him alone. He grabbed his forehead protector and pulled it off, replacing it with his mother's Anbu Commander forehead protector, and turned it to the side, exactly like Zabuza had. I promise to you both that I will use everything you've given me to help those in need and protect everyone precious to me. Naruto grabbed the hilt of the sword and with all his strength, he pulled it from the ground. He then ran his palm across the blade, causing blood to cover the blade. And I swear on my blood and my pain that I will make you too, my mother, the old man, and everyone else that's ever helped me or have been on my side proud. Very touching. For a thief, you speak well. Naruto spun around to see a stunning red-headed woman in a blue dress and mesh. He had barely sensed her approach, as he wasn't channeling any Kyuubi chakra. But one this was certain. She had a lot of chakra. And she looked pissed. Now return that sword to its rightful place, before I melt you. I don't know who you are, lady, but I will never give up this sword, stated Naruto fiercely as he started drawing Kurama's chakra, just enough to remain unseen. Naruto was amazed how even at low levels, the giant blade felt no heavier than the katana that Tenzo was having him train with on the walk across the bridge. Listen, punk, I will not tell you again, put that sword back in its rightful place or I will kill you, stated the redhead in a rage-filled voice. I don't know what your problem is, but this sword is in its rightful place, stated Naruto as he took the best defensive stance he could muster. That sword belongs with Zabuza, she shouted as she rushed him, drawing her fist back, only to see him start to glow gold and blur behind her. Fast. Low Jonin level. Naruto tried to punch her from behind, only for her to spin around and grab his fist, using his own momentum to throw him like a rag doll over her shoulder. As Naruto righted in himself, he felt all the air leave his lungs, a fist planted in his gut. Kurama, I need as much chakra flow as I can handle. The only response was Naruto glowing brighter and feeling the pain from the punch lessen. As Naruto approached a tree, he stabbed the blade into the ground, halting his involuntary flight. Naruto's chakra-enhanced eyes and brain picked up another blur heading towards him from his right. On instinct, he pulled the blade from the ground and blocked the strike, something he had seen Zabuza do when first fighting Kakashi. Mei was in shock. The brat had blocked her punch, which, considering she was the second strongest woman in the world, right behind Tsunade, was a feat in itself. What shocked her the most was with his headband sideways, his demon-like shroud, and the way he blocked with the flat of the sword. The brat looked exactly like Zabuza. Why are you dishonoring him? You took his sword, his style and even his signature genjutsu, yelled Mei in a fit of rage. He left me his sword. The headband thing is my way of honoring him, and I have no idea what you mean. I'm not using any genjutsu, stated Naruto as he hefted the large sword up and placed it on his shoulder, making Mei once again see a resemblance to Zabuza. He would never leave that sword to you. With Tenzo and Jiraiya were walking through the street, looking for a good tailor so that they could get Naruto a good set of clothes to train in, when they stumbled across a store that caught their eye. It was a ninja supply store. Both walked in and were surprised to see it was fully stocked with all manner of shinobi wear and gear. Welcome to my store. Judging from you headbands, I assume you are Konoha ninja? Asked the large gray-haired older man behind the counter. That we are. We were looking for some clothes for our student when we stumbled upon your store. Mind telling us what a village like this needs a shinobi supply store for? Asked Jiraiya as he looked at some of the clothes on the racks, seeing they were all high quality. Ever since Gato was killed, the civilians have been training to protect themselves, stated the man behind the counter. So what brings you to Wave? I can't believe that you would come all the way here just to buy a few supplies from little old me. Actually, our student is training for the Chunin exam finals. We're here because it's out of the way and we have some things we don't want his competition to know about him, stated Tenzo, inspecting a turtleneck Kevlar mesh undershirt. Why come to Wave though? I only know of 4 ninja from Konoha that have ever been here, stated the older man before his eye lit up. Is your student Naruto Uzumaki? With Naruto. Zabuza. He really did leave his sword to you, didn't he? Questioned May as she reread the letter for what had to have been the 20th time. Yay. He also left me some other stuff as well, stated Naruto as he nursed his rib cage, where May had landed a brutal kick. Naruto laid down on the ground and sighed, at least I'm improving. Last time I fought a Jonin I almost died. How did you know I'm a Jonin? Asked May. Her interest in the young genin had skyrocketed over the last 10 minutes. Because, even though my taijutsu and kenjutsu suck, I can still move at Jonin level speeds and I'm strong enough to swing around this sword, stated Naruto with a pat on the sword in his lap. If you weren't a Jonin, you wouldn't have been able to keep up, and seeing as you were blowing me out of the water, I can only assume that you're high Jonin in skill. Very deductive of you, Naruto-kun. But can I ask, how are you able to move like that? Questioned May. I use chakra on every muscle, my eyes, brain and nervous system to make me faster, stronger and quicker. Stated Naruto. Sounds like A's lightning armor, stated May to herself, silently impressed that a genin had recreated the Raikage's personal jutsu. Who's A? And what's lightning armor? He's the Raikage. He uses a jutsu that's exactly like that golden cloak of yours, except he uses his masterful control over lightning, stated May, Naruto-kun. Did you mean everything you said about becoming strong? Yes. I will become strong so that I can protect everyone I care about, stated Naruto with resolve that made May once again see Zabuza. Well then, I guess you could use a few jutsu to help out, stated May with a smile as she stood up and fished a scroll out of the small pouch on her lower back. I'm sure these will help, but for now, I must get back to Mist. I hope to see you again, Naruto-kun. Naruto looked at the scroll and saw several high-ranking water jutsu on it. That you may Ne-chan, shouted Naruto as he charged and hugged her. Just keep Zabuza alive in memory and in your heart, stated May with a smile. She then disappeared in a swirl of water. I hope that's in this scroll too, that was awesome, stated Naruto as he walked back towards the village to meet up with Yamato and Jiraiya. Wonder how the training is going to go. 45 minutes later. Okay brat, let's get to work. During this month, we're going to be working on your taijutsu, ninjutsu, kenjutsu, fuinjutsu and of course, using your new chakra, stated Jiraiya, showing his serious side. What's fuinjutsu? And how the hell are we going to do all of that in a month? Questioned Naruto. Fuinjutsu is the art, and I do mean art, of seals. Unlike ninjutsu or genjutsu or almost every other kind of jutsu, fuinjutsu can do almost anything. Most shinobi see fuinjutsu as pointless because they fail to see the in-fight capabilities, stated Jiraiya. What are the in-fight capabilities? You mean like being able to attack and defend? Asked Naruto, curious as to how useful it could be. There are a lot of things that can be useful in a fight. Just an example, the Yondaimi's signature jutsu, the Hiraishin, is 100% fuinjutsu. Also, you can seal weapons away and surprise your opponent by pulling a sword or an explosive tag out of nowhere, stated Jiraiya. That's so cool. So I could seal my sword on my palm, and deploy it whenever I wanted. Questioned Naruto. Exactly, you could even seal kunai into the sword, and have them launch out when you swing the sword, stated Jiraiya with a smile. That's awesome, shouted Naruto in glee, I want to learn fuinjutsu. That's great Naruto, but first, we must get your other skills up to a higher level in a hurry. So we're going to be using my favorite training method. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Suddenly, there were two Jiraiyas. Okay kid, I want you to make a clone and have it come with me and you spar with Tenzo. Otogakur. Luck is on our side, stated Orochimaru as he looked over a spy report. Why is that? Inquired Kabuto. Because my idiot of an ex-teammate has taken the talentless Uzumaki away from the village for the month to train, leaving Konoha with its spy network for the whole month, stated Orochimaru in glee. I don't see the difference, I mean, they never would have known anyway, stated Kabuto. Once again, you're not seeing the bigger picture, Kabuto-kun. If we don't have to worry about the spy network, then we don't have to conceal our movements as much. Which means that I no longer have to use that fool as a mask any longer, stated Orochimaru, and the best part is, he's still under my jutsu. So no matter what, he will follow the plan. Konoha. The third Hokage frowned deeply as he looked over the Team 7 reports. He was shocked, but not for the reason he would have thought. It seemed that, incredibly, until the end of the second round of the Chunin exam, Kakashi had been a fair, although extremely ineffective, sensei. In fact, the one that grew the least under him was Sasuke, who had been a prodigy in the academy, and had all but stopped growing until the fated a rank mission to wave when he had unlocked his Sharingan. Though it seemed to most that Sasuke was growing by leaps and bounds, it was just a trick of the mind, as Sasuke had been so far ahead of everyone else, that even the slightest increase in skill seemed to be a huge step. That was the problem though. Even Minato and Itachi were never this far ahead of the class they graduated with. Though they both had graduated early, they were still roughly mid-genin when they graduated. Hell, even Kakashi himself was only mid-genin level when he graduated. Yet Sasuke seemed to have already been high-genin, bordering on Chunin when he graduated. Even more concerning, when Naruto had graduated, his scores were the lowest in the academy's history, yet within a day of his third failure, he learned a B-rank jutsu and defeated a rather skilled Chunin in hand-to-hand combat with it. Why was nothing coming out of the academy making sense? He could understand that Sasuke would be skilled, but if he was already near Chunin level at the time of graduation, why had he not known about it? And what about Naruto? He was obviously held back at the academy. Mizuki had admitted to that himself, but how much had he truly been held back? In every definition of the term, Naruto was a prodigy, even more so than his father was. And yet he came out of the academy as the dead last. Hell, he failed 3 times. Not to mention the young Haruno. She's the daughter to fairly skilled, retired shinobi. She came out of the academy a well-rounded, incredibly intelligent young woman. But her team reports showed that she had done next to nothing on their missions, and when she trained she did the bare minimum of work. Get me Ibiki, Anko, Hayate and Genma, now, commanded Sarutobi as he felt to Anbu leave to gather the people he requested. I will get to the bottom of this. Then I will handle Kakashi's shortcomings as a sensei. 3 weeks later. Okay Naruto, let's spar again, and let's see how far you've come, stated Tenzo. Seeing Naruto nod, he added the stipulations, just your skills. The Kyuubi Chakra is a trump card, you should not become reliant on it. Naruto nodded and shot forward at high genin speed, throwing a punch at the Anbu's face, only for Tenzo to catch it and throw Naruto over his shoulder. However, Naruto used the throw to his advantage by unsealing his sword from his palm, slicing at Tenzo's back. Jiraiya watched his godson use his outstanding in-fight intelligence to force an Anbu member onto the defensive. Outstanding. Even though he only has high genin speed and low Chunin strength, he still is able to outmaneuver a seasoned Anbu and even use what most would consider a horrible position to his own advantage. He really is your son Minato. Very good Naruto. You have high genin speed and are easily low Chunin in strength with how you use that sword. Your taijutsu is good, but you still need more experience. I'd say it's also high genin. Now let's see some ninjutsu, stated Tenzo as he once again got into a defensive stance. I'll take it from here, Tenzo. No offense, but the Gaki's reserves are just as big as mine, not to mention we've drilled so much chakra control into his head that he probably has low Chunin level chakra control, stated Jiraiya as he took Tenzo's place in front of Naruto. Okay Gaki, show me what you got. Water style. Water dragon jutsu, shouted Naruto as he drew water from the air and launched the dragon at Jiraiya, who was shocked to see Naruto use B-rank jutsu of the bat, especially one that he hadn't taught him. Before he even had a chance to put up a defense, he heard another yell, water style. Great collision wave jutsu, earth style, earth bunker, shouted Jiraiya as he slammed his palms into the ground, creating a dome over himself to shield him from the water. Let's see you beat this Gaki. Earth style, earth bullet dragon. Naruto's eyes widened as he flew through hand seals. Earth style, earth wall jutsu. A 10-foot tall, 10-foot wide and 2 feet thick wall of earth sprang up in front of Naruto, absorbing the impact of the bullet dragon as it slammed into it. As it fell, Jiraiya saw Naruto, kneeling behind the giant mound of mud that made of their combined jutsu, panting heavily. Man. 2B rank. Jutsu and a C rank and I'm already down a fourth of my reserves, panted Naruto as he watched Jiraiya walk over to him. Gaki. The reason that took so much out of you is because you used water from the air instead of from a lake or even the ground. Seeing as your natural element is wind, it's harder for you to use other elements, stated Jiraiya. Plus the fact that you tried to use the water dragon without using a few hand signs didn't help. The second Hokage used the water dragon with only one hand sign. If I can do it with less hand seals, then it will be more useful in a fight, stated Naruto as he got up. Very true, but to properly do that, you need to have cage level control, which even with shadow clone training and Kyuubi no longer messing up your chakra flow, you're still years, maybe even decades away from, stated Jiraiya as he walked over to Tenzo. So what now? He needs to be back in a week, so we still have a few days to train him, stated Tenzo. Why not give the kid a break? He's already low Chunin without using Kyuubi chakra, and with it he might as well be low Jonin. He deserves some time off. Plus, we still have to get him his new clothes, seeing as we destroyed that outfit, stated Jiraiya as he started walking away, not waiting for Tenzo's input. Come on Gaki, me and Tenzo have a surprise for ya. Konoha. Sasuke once again flashed through hand signs and then gripped his forearm as chakra began to gather in his palm, growing and churning until it seemed to come to life with a high-pitched scream as it sparked and danced, ripping chunks out the earth around him. Sasuke then rushed at the training dummy, Sharingan blazing as he thrusted the ball of electricity into its chest, splinters exploding from the impact site. Very good Sasuke. But you still haven't mastered the just yet. We will try again tomorrow, for right now, let's work on speed, stated Kakashi. And remember Sasuke, the Chidori is an assassination technique. It has no other purpose but to kill. You will only use this jutsu to defend your comrades. Sasuke simply nodded as he turned away from his sensei. This is the perfect tool to kill him. Don't you worry Dobi. Now that I have this, I won't need to kill you. Just as long as you don't stand in my way. Weapons shop in wave. Welcome back Shinobi-san. Welcome to my store Naruto-sama. Called out the shop owner as the trio of shinobi made their way into the surprisingly large shinobi store. Hello Kadio. Have you finished the orders? Asked Jiraiya. Naruto sent him a questioning look. But of course. My young seamstress finished the large order weeks ago. The second order was finished a few days ago, stated Kadio with a smile. Let me go get them. Naruto watched as the man shot into the back room of the shop. Did he just call me Naruto-sama? That he did Gaki. I'd imagine that everyone in this village, hell, the The whole country thinks of you as a hero, stated Jiraiya. It's true, Naruto. You haven't seen it because you've only been to the graves and to Tazuna Sands. Everyone that has seen my headband asks about you, and there hasn't been a single one who had anything but good things to say about you, stated Tenzo. Why would we? You saved our country, Naruto-sama. You showed us that we could still fight. It's because of you that many of us are still alive, stated the shop owner as he came out of the back room, placing 3 boxes of the counter. These 2 are your orders, this third one was left here by a beautiful red-headed woman. Mei-ne-chan, questioned Naruto to himself, though Jiraiya had heard him. Oh ho, so the Gaki has a cute little girlfriend he's been hiding from us. What do you think, Tenzo? Questioned Jiraiya. How cute. Though I'm curious as to when he would have met her. We got here and almost immediately started his training, stated Tenzo. I met her when I went to visit Zabuza and get my blade. She said that she was a friend of his, and after we fought, she said that she had to go back to Mist, stated Naruto. He then pulled a scroll and showed it to the other men in the room. She's the one who gave me the scroll that had all the water jutsu I know. Must be fellow Jonin. Do you know her last name Gaki? Asked Jiraiya. Well, no, she never gave it, stated Naruto while he rubbed the back of his head. What did she give me? Well, let's see, stated the store owner as he handed the box over to Naruto. Naruto opened the box, only to pull out 2 belts and a letter. Dear Naruto-kun, it was one of Zabuza's dreams to truly master the art of silent killing, which according to him was to become completely undetectable. I'm not sure that it's possible, but seeing as he left his sword to you, I believe you are the one to finish this dream. I don't have any scrolls on the silent killing technique, but hopefully this will help. Simply wear 1 belt around your chest and 1 around your waist, channel some chakra into them and the sword will stick to the belts, even through clothing. Make him proud, Naruto-kun. Gaki, if you keep going at this rate, you'll be buried in letters and gifts, laughed Jiraiya, but that will go perfect with our gifts. Naruto opened the next box, revealing a new outfit. Naruto was at a loss for words as he looked at the new clothes, and was only taken out of his thoughts when he heard Tenzo speak. We knew you would never give up the color orange, so we simply toned it down. Go ahead and put it on, I believe there's a changing room over in the corner. Naruto darted into the small room in the back corner of the store, only to emerge a minute later, donning his new outfit, which consisted of a dark blue long-sleeved shirt with dark orange stripes going from his armpits to his hips, a giant red and black swirl on his back. His pants were much the same as his shirt, dark blue Anbu-style pants that had the same dark orange stripes, continuing from his hips, disappearing into his dark orange shinobi sandals. His mother's headband still lay across the side of his head. Looking sharp, Gaki. Looks like you're going to be breaking a lot of hearts, stated Jiraiya. My lord, he looks almost exactly like Minato. I can't wait to see everyone's smug faces when he arrives at the Chunin exams and beats the Hyuga, all while resembling his father. It's awesome. Thank you both so much, thanked Naruto with tears in his eyes. The shop owner was once again amazed that the hero of Wave was reduced to tears by simply being given an outfit, a very expensive and well-made outfit mind you, but an outfit nonetheless. Open the last one, Gaki, stated Jiraiya. If he likes the outfit, he's going to love this. Such a shame the village held him back. Minato, would you have saved them if you knew this was your son's fate? Naruto nodded and wiped his eyes, moving over to the counter once again, taking the box into his hands, pulling the lid off. No way. I take it you like it, Gaki? Asked Jiraiya as he watched Naruto pull a blue jacket with orange flames licking the bottom and sleeves. On the back was the kanji for Demon of the Leaf. Naruto was at a loss for words as he put the jacket on and moved around in it. He was surprised that there was almost no loss of movement and it hid the twin belts that made up his holster. In the front of the jacket, there was a spot where he could hook a forehead protector. You didn't need to do all of this. I may not have needed to, but I did. You said you wouldn't wear his jacket, so I got you your own. Flashback. Naruto. Gaki. You alright? Asked Jiraiya. Yeah, better than ever, retorted Naruto as he moved down the bridge, studying every square inch of it as he walked. Naruto, what was in that scroll that Lord Hokage gave you? Asked Tenzo, walking next to Jiraiya. Huh, oh that, I don't know. Why don't I check and see? Naruto reached into his pocket and pulled out the scroll, rolled it open and stared at it. It's a seal. Well, what are y'all waiting for, brat? Put some chakra into the center of the seal, stated Jiraiya. Naruto is going to flip out when he sees what's in that seal. One poof later, Naruto was frozen in place on the bridge, in one hand, the scroll, in the other, the Yondaime's jacket. Why would he give me this? 'Cause brat, when he sealed that beast inside you, it wasn't only to save the village. He wanted you to be able to use its power to protect the village. Now that you can do just that, he would want you to have it, stated Jiraiya. Doesn't hurt that you're his son, and other than your mother's personality, you're a carbon copy of him. I can't wear this. He was the greatest shinobi of all time. It would be right to wear this. Not until I'm Hokage, stated Naruto with conviction. Jiraiya smiled softly, remembering a time where Minato refused a gift from himself the same reason. Minato, he's so much like you. Flashback end. Alright brat, no tears. Let's get going. We have less than a week left and we still have one last place to go. Konoha. The Sandaime observed the 3 men and 1 woman in front of him. Hayate was coughing as usual, though his condition was getting better. He kept up the appearance of being sick to force others to underestimate him. What have you all found? Asked Sarutobi, already smoking his pipe. We believe that there has been major favoritism shown throughout the academy, but as far as we can tell, Kakashi has just been a shitty sensei, stated Ibiki, stepping forward and handing the aged Kage a binder. Explain. The Kakashi part first and then the academy, instructed the aged Kage. Up until the Uchiha obtained the curse seal, Kakashi seemed to teach only teamwork exercises and use D ranks as his physical training. Usually this would be frowned upon, but from all accounts, Team 7's teamwork was held together by a thread, so I personally can't blame him too much, especially because for most of his life, he's believed teamwork was the most important part of being a shinobi. The C rank turned a rank, looking back, was actually not that bad of an idea. Kakashi had estimated it to be mid-B rank and he could handle that by himself, as shown by his track record. I believe he figured that the stress of a high-ranking mission would kick them into gear and force them to start working together. Subsequently, it did just that, as both Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno started working better with Naruto Uzumaki, who Kakashi had said at one point was the glue that held the team together, stated Ibiki. Hiruzen nodded, remembering most of this information's from the team reports. Anko began next. After Kakashi found out that Sasuke was marked with the curse mark, he immediately began setting up a sealing room, asking Metagai to watch after his team while he did so. Kakashi then reported that he sealed the curse mark with a twin evil suppressing seal after his preliminary match, making it controlled by Sasuke's will, which personally, I think was the stupidest thing he could have done, seeing as the brat has a revenge complex, and will run to any source of power he can find. Sarutobi had to agree with the foul-mouthed Anko on that level. He made a mental note to have Jiraiya apply another set of seals to completely destroy the possibility of Sasuke ever using it again. After that we have several witnesses that say they saw Kakashi and Uzumaki conversing outside of Rock Lee's room. An argument broke out when Kakashi all but cast Naruto off with special Jonin Ebisu, and was heard saying that Uzumaki wasn't worth his time at the moment. After that he took Sasuke out of the village to train. They are currently on the bluffs of Foster Canyon, stated Hayate. It's my personal opinion that the reason Kakashi is promoting the Uchiha's growth to do right by Obito by helping Sasuke make Chunin, then maybe he will help out Naruto and the Haruno. Sarutobi nodded at the information. Yes, Jiraiya had said that they were training near there, and I have the paperwork from Kakashi. What have you all found at the academy? Genma stepped forward and began. At first it seemed like Uzumaki was simply a dead last, which wouldn't be that surprising, as he had no one to help him outside of the classes. Looking back on the written exam scores, he consistently was scoring class low grades, though he rarely outright failed, leading us to believe that the instructors only taught him half of the curriculum. His physical scores were much the same, all just barely above passing. But going back and looking over the obstacle course tapes, Uzumaki was always in the top 5 in evasion, speed, reflexes and usually could get his way out of any predicament he found himself in. Until teachers started to sabotage him. This continued until he reached Iruka's class, where he started to gradually improve. Near the middle of the year, he was hanging in the middle of the class. It was then that other teachers started to volunteer their help in training Naruto in their specialty subjects, at which point Naruto started to fall behind again, eventually causing him to become the dead last. Thank you for the reports. I would like every teacher, active or retired, that you believe may have hampered Naruto's growth, to be sent to Anko and Ibiki. If the suspicions are found true, they are to have their chakra sealed and be placed in prison. Charge them with treason for undermining the military power of this village. If you manage to connect any of them with Mizuki on anything greater than a friendship level, I want them taken to Inoichi, where he will scan their memories. Outside Konoha, pervy sage, what is this place? Asked Naruto as he looked at group of buildings that looked like they hadn't seen human contact in 20 years. This is the Uzumaki Shrine, kid. Usually, it's impossible to find, because of the genjutsu barriers. You have to go through a tunnel and all sorts of other shit to avoid those though, stated Jiraiya as he moved to the center of the courtyard and began setting up camp. I thought this place was a myth, stated Tenzo, moving to make a makeshift tent out of wood. I swear, the second I figure out that house jutsu, it's no myth. You can only enter this place if you've been inside before with an Uzumaki. Come on brat, we got 5 days till the Chunin exams and I think you're ready to start learning some new chakra control exercises, stated Jiraiya. Naruto nodded and looked around, seeing several things that caught his eyes. The sooner we get started, the sooner you can take a look around. You can do these exercises while walking around. 5 days later, Chunin Exam Stadium. Hello Hokage Dono. I see you are in good health, stated the Kazekage, sitting in his seat, 3 bodyguards around him. Same for you Kazekage Dono. It is quite a trip from your village to mine, stated Sarutobi. Never did like the desert. It took a fair amount of our men in the Second Great War, stated Jiraiya, who had appeared next to Hiruzen. Then again, our forest did the same for Kumo, so I guess I can't complain. Indeed. It also helps in the conditioning of our ninja, stated the Kazekage thoughtfully. Excuse me Hokage Dono, but I believe we are missing some competitors. Hiruzen looked down to the arena floor. Seeing everyone but Naruto and Dosu, who had gone missing during the month break. Jiraiya, where is Naruto? You were supposed to be back yesterday. We bunked overnight outside the village. Don't worry though, he'll be here. Actually, he probably already is, though you might not recognize him. Arena floor. Uzumaki shows he's nothing but a failure. Stated Neji, though at least he knows when to quit, fate has already declared me the winner. You better show up, Dobi. I want to know what that power was, thought Sasuke darkly, his mind revolving around the burst of pure power that he felt when Kakashi first took him to Foster Canyon. I came back a full day early just so I could question that idiot on that power, and that Dobi had the gall to actually leave the village when he needed to answer my questions. If I crush someone's toes, could they still walk? Wondered Gaara absent-mindedly. When I get back home I will ask Dr. Mabutu. Oh shit, Gaara's got that calculating look in his eyes. I hope father knows what he's doing, thought Tamari. Bananas are delicious, thought Shino. Wonder where Naruto is. He only has a minute to show up, thought Genma. The Uchiha is here though. I wonder if Uzumaki is around as well. Perhaps if I crush only one set of toes, would they walk around in circles? Where is Uzumaki? Mother says to be weary of him, thought Gaara. Naruto Uzumaki has 1 minute to report to the arena before he is disqualified. Stated Genma. An eerie silence fell over the crowd before a demonic-like voice sounded from everywhere at once. Feel free to start the match, I'm already here. A horrified look appeared on several faces. Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi because of the flashbacks of Zabuza. Neji because he could not find the source of the voice with his all-seeing eyes. Guy and Kurenai, who had both faced one of the 7 swordsmen in battle, both started to sweat, believing one of the former swordsmen had infiltrated the village. Alright, would Neji Hyuga and Naruto Uzumaki remain? Wherever you are, everyone else, move back to the box. Stated Genma, the Chunin hopefuls all moved to the box, each looking around for the orange-wearing shinobi. Are both fighters ready? Of course, if Uzumaki isn't too cowardly as to not show himself. Stated Neji with a confident smirk, though on the inside he was beginning to become frightened. Such a shame. Spoke the voice again, sending chills up almost everyone's spines. You Hyuga are said to see everything, yet you fail to see what's in plain sight. I guess the Hyuga are not as great as everyone believes. Show yourself, coward, shouted Neji. Fate has sealed my victory, there's no reason to hide. A ninja is a silent assassin, protecting the village from the shadows as an unseen protector. I am anything but a coward. I am a true ninja. But seeing as you're incompetent. Look at the top of the cage box. Everyone's eyes shot to the top of the cage box, and most over the age of 16 began freaking out. Standing at the edge of the roof, stood a blonde figure, hair draping to his shoulders, one side of his face framed by a bang of hair, while the other was being held back by a black headband that sat on the side of his head, a blue and orange outfit, and blue short-sleeved jacket with orange flames licking the bottom and sleeves, a sword handle stuck out behind his head. Whispers sounded off throughout the stadium ranging from shock that the Yondaime had returned to hatred that the Kyuubi brat was emulating their greatest hero. The most notable was Kakashi, who seemed to be literally frozen, unable to even think after seeing just how much Naruto resembled his sensei. Naruto disappeared from the roof and appeared 10 feet from the Hyuga, his giant sword held in his right hand, which he planted into the ground next to him. Start the match. It's time this pile of shit pay for his actions. Right. First match. Neji Hyuga vs Naruto Uzumaki, begin. Nice entrance. But style points mean nothing in this fight. You are fated to lose. Naruto started flying through hand signs, water style. Great collision wave. A torrent of water left Naruto's mouth, surging towards the Hyuga prodigy, who was too surprised to move in time and was swept into the wall, leaving a Neji-shaped indent. As the water settled, covering the arena floor in a foot-thick layer of water, Neji pried himself out of his crater and fell to his knees on the surface of the water. Get up. I'm tired of being underestimated. I'm going to make it known here and now that I'm not the dead last, that I'm not just some fodder, stated Naruto as he channeled Kurama's chakra, just enough to shield his chakra network, giving him an eerie reddish glow. You better pull out all the stops, Neji, 'cause I'm coming for you. With teams 7, 8, 9 and 10. Man, when did Naruto become so cool? Questioned Ino, her interest piqued by this new and, in her opinion, very much improved Naruto. When did he learn that jutsu? He never used it against me. And what about the sword? Questioned Kiba, angry that he had lost to the blonde when he wasn't even using all his arsenal. Well, when Orochimaru hit him, he said something about a seal. Naruto said that his chakra felt funny, stated Sakura, staring at the sword that was planted in the ground. But that's Zabuza Momochi's sword. Who's Zabuza Momochi? Asked Choji. An A-class nuke nin from Kiri that we fought on our C rank turned a rank. It's likely that Naruto went back during the month break to retrieve it. Plus he's wearing his headband like Zabuza did, most likely as a way to show his respect, stated Kakashi. Plus Naruto just used a B-ranked water jutsu with only 3/4 of the standard hand seals. Why were you hiding your strength from me, Naruto? Cage box. Sarutobi watched with a smile as his surrogate grandson showed his true colors to the rest of the village, Minato, Kushina. If only you could see him. No. Arena floor. Naruto dodged another set of strikes from the Hyuga prodigy. Using his momentum, he spun and sent a vicious kick at Neji's head, which was blocked by the Hyuga's arm. Neji winced in pain as he was forced to block another blow, which was about as strong as Lee's. This is insane. The only reason I can even track him is because of the Byakugan. And why is there red chakra surrounding his body? It's time I end this, stated Naruto as he jumped away from their deadly lake top dance, landing about 30 feet away, flashing through hand signs in a blur, so fast that all Neji saw was a blur that ended on the dragon symbol. Water style. Water dragon jutsu. Everyone in the stadium was amazed and somewhat horrified as a 50-foot tall water dragon grew up from the water behind Naruto, using every ounce of water on the floor of the arena. The creature then rushed at Neji at near Jonin speeds, forcing the Hyuga prodigy to use his best move. Rotation. Shouted Neji, spinning at incredible speeds and releasing a large portion of his chakra. As the dragon hit the spinning dome of chakra, it exploded in all different directions, sending water everywhere, drenching everyone within range of the blast. As both attacks ended, everyone witnessed a slightly panting Naruto, standing on the slowly rising water, and Neji, on both knees and panting heavily as the water rose around him. Hey, you cannot escape fate. Do you understand now? I was fated to win the match ever since you were made my opponent. And now, you're within my range. Bursting out of his down position, Neji began hitting Naruto's chakra system with everything he had, chakra points, organs, even hitting his chakra coils a couple of times, though Naruto just seemed to tank every hit. As Neji's last strike hit, his vision went black. Naruto had just about enough of the Hyuga poking him, and delivered a strike of his own, blasting the Hyuga on the bridge of the nose with a Kurama-powered punch, sending him flying across the arena, skipping and skidding across the water limply before splashing to a stop, floating face up in the water. Fate means nothing. Fate, revenge, honor, they're all nothing but crutches used by weak people to justify their actions. Naruto turned around, pulling his sword from the ground and placed it on his back, where his belts held it in place through his coat, and began walking towards the stairs that led to the contestant box, passing the med nin that were rushing towards the downed Hyuga. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. Cage box. He's grown well, Jiraiya. Once again you prove that you're one of the best senseis the world has ever known, stated Sarutobi with a kind laugh. Actually, sensei, he did most of what you've seen on his own. I taught him a few earth jutsu and refined his taijutsu and chakra control, stated Jiraiya with a smirk, thinking of how hard his student worked. That brat. I hate that brat. It's obvious that he's Minato's son. I want that brat dead. I know, I'll postpone the invasion and let Gaara kill him. I'll just have Kabuto step in if Sasuke-kun is in any danger. After all, he is a medic. Though Orochimaru, sending out a discreet message to the bed nin. Contestant box. Where did you learn those jutsu dobi? And why couldn't I copy them? Demanded Sasuke, but Naruto simply walked past him, moving to Gaara. Don't you walk away from me, Dobi. I'm talking to you. Naruto just continued to ignore the pissed-off Avenger, standing in front of Gaara. You are 1, I am 9. Everyone went quiet, wondering what the blonde was talking about. Gaara nodded and spoke. Mother told me as much. You have very good control. I wish to fight you most of all. Then it will be a fight between us. You finish your fight quickly, and I'll fight you with everything I have. Stated Naruto seriously, his blue eyes boring into Gaara's green, and don't kill him. Gaara stared at the blonde for a few seconds, before nodding, I will not kill him, but if you disappoint me, he will die, along with everyone else. Gaara then disappeared in a swirl of sand, appearing on the water. Answer me, Dobi. Why do you have Zabuza's sword? Where did you learn those jutsu and what was that power you used? Shouted Sasuke. Flashback. Okay, Naruto. It's time I tell you something that took me most of my life to figure out, stated Jiraiya seriously as he sat down on the steps of the Uzumaki shrine. What is it, sensei? Asked Naruto, understanding that whenever Jiraiya was being serious and used his real name, it was important. There are certain types of people in this world. There are those that face the world head-on, and those that hide behind beliefs. We tend to face everything head-on, using our own power. Then there are those like Orochimaru, who has hidden his entire life. As a child he lost his parents, and used it as an excuse. He never got over the tragedy of losing his parents, and he slowly switched crutches, moving from honor to revenge to even fate. Only the weak hide behind words, Naruto. The strong face their problems face to face, head on and with everything they got. End flashback. Naruto turned to the Uchiha and with speed that Sasuke couldn't track with his Sharingan, he found Naruto's hand around his throat. No more Uchiha. I will no longer be the Team 7 punching bag. You want my hard work? Too bad. I've worked for everything I've ever had while you use those vile eyes of yours to just steal others' hard work. This is the last time I say it, Tem. I will never give you anything that is mine. Naruto then threw Sasuke out into the stadium, leaving a majority of the crowd stunned. Good to see you join us. Are both fighters ready? Asked Genma. Gaara nodded and began leaking chakra into the ground to create more sand. Uzumaki is the target. This Uchiha no longer interests me. I would usually play around with you, but I need answers from the Dobi. I'll end this in one move, stated Sasuke, activating his Sharingan. Begin. Sasuke immediately jumped away, creating the distance he would need to gather speed. This is the power of the Uchiha. Sasuke ran through hand seals and gripped his wrist, electricity gathered in his palm and began chirping. Sasuke charged the still stationary redhead, grinning like a madman that he could finally try this jutsu out on a living target. Chidori. As Sasuke was rapidly approaching, Gaara surrounded himself in a dome of sand, making sure the walls were thicker than the Uchiha's arm was long. Everyone watched as Sasuke plunged his arm into the sand with no resistance, and the civilians began to cheer, that is, until Sasuke screamed out in pain. Inside the dome, Gaara was having far too much fun. He used his sands to dislocate all of Sasuke's fingers, along with his wrist and elbow. He then sent his sand to cover the Uchiha's body, letting the dome fall as he enveloped Sasuke in sand. You're lucky that Uzumaki wants you alive, though I don't understand why. If I were him, I would have killed you long ago. Proctor. This match is over. Winner. Gaara of the desert. Called out Genma as he watched the sand leave Sasuke. He was disgusted when he saw that Sasuke's left arm was now about 4 inches longer than his right. Hope that the Uzumaki gives me a good fight, or I will be coming back and finishing you off. You summoned me? Questioned Naruto from a knee in front of the Hokage and cage. You may rise, Naruto. It doesn't suit you to be on a knee, stated Sarutobi kindly. Quite the performance. I did not know you had a water affinity, though with Kushina as your mother, I shouldn't be surprised. You are an Uzumaki after all. Hehe. About that, I don't have a water affinity, mine's wind, stated Naruto, getting a shocked look from both Sarutobi and the cage. What? Are you saying that you were able to use 2 of the most infamous water jutsu, with less than the normally required hand seals? Without an affinity for water? Questioned Sarutobi, his mind racing to figure out how that was possible. Well, yay. I mean, what's the point of having 2 high-ranking jutsu if it takes like 5 to 15 seconds just to do the seals? I'd be dead before I got halfway through the hand seals, stated Naruto, not understanding the complexity of his jutsu. That's not what I'm talking about, Naruto. It's the fact that not even I can do those jutsu without the full amount of seals, because I do not possess a water affinity, stated Sarutobi, as he glanced down to the start of Shikamaru's match. He turned to see a confused look on Naruto's face. I know every jutsu in Konoha's position, minus personal jutsu of my ninja and clans. I can use every basic element, but I only have an affinity for earth and fire. I can perform a fire dragon and earth dragon with 2 or 3 hand signs, but for jutsu like the water and lightning dragon, I must use all the hand signs. Oh Sue, does that mean I have an affinity for water as well as earth and wind? Questioned Naruto. When I did that card thing, it only showed I had wind. Can you do earth jutsu with less than the standard seals? Questioned Sarutobi, to which Naruto nodded. You are indeed a very talented shinobi, Naruto. Don't be surprised if you make Chunin at the end of these finals. Let him fight Gaara first. I was rather disappointed in the Uchiha. Perhaps you can give Gaara a challenge, young Uzumaki, stated the cage, truly wanting to see what the Uzumaki could do, especially if he had heard right about him being Kushina's son. I have to, otherwise your son will kill my friends, even if it means starting a war. It makes me wonder, if he has such free reign in an allied village, how does he behave in his own village? Questioned Naruto, subtly using just enough of Kurama's chakra to increase his senses, feeling a spike of anger come from the cage. I suggest you tread lightly, Genin. Insulting a cage, even an allied one, can cost you your life, stated the cage, his voice dangerous. Jiraiya was about to shut Naruto up when Naruto felt a huge spike of negative emotions, and retorted. I would rather kill myself than die by the hand of a man who doesn't even have the respect of his own son. At least I hope that's what is going on. Hate to find out that you're planning on betraying our trust. After all, letting a mentally unstable Jinchuriki loose in any village could be considered an act of war. Naruto turned away from the frozen wind shadow and towards the old man. May I go now? I would like to congratulate Shikamaru on his loss. Sarutobi, lost in thought, simply nodded and said, of course, my boy. Be careful fighting Gaara, he's much stronger than Neji. Naruto nodded and moved to pass Jiraiya, only to pause and whisper to him, something's wrong, pervy sage. There's 5 different signatures besides the cage, and all their emotions are negative. Medical Bay. You're very skilled for being a genin. We've already repaired all the joints in his fingers and his elbow, stated a random med nin that had been dedicated to fixing the last Uchiha's all but crushed arm. It's really nothing. All the joints were popped out of place with a pulling motion. It's the easiest dislocation to heal, and he should be back to full range of motion in no time, stated Kabuto with a smile, though on the inside, his mind was running a mile a minute. Orochimaru ordered me to heal Sasuke, but doing this will delay the invasion. It could even stop it from happening. And why has he changed the start signal? Does he want to see that idiot get killed by Gaara? Contestant box. Really, Shika? I knew you would quit, but why quit right before you were going to win? Questioned Naruto, a deadpan expression on his face. Well, it would be troublesome to go on fighting. I'm already low on chakra, and having to face Shino next, there's a slim chance I would have been able to finish the fight before his bugs drained me. Then even if I somehow managed to beat Shino, who is still fresh after Makeup Boy forfeited, I'd be facing you or Gaara. And there is no way in hell I'd want to fight either of you, explained Shikamaru, who then took a large breath and leaned up against the wall. Wow, I think that's the most you've ever said at once, stated Naruto as he started moving towards the doorway out of the contestant box. See you later, Shika. Where are you going? Questioned Shikamaru, his interest piqued in the blonde. Well, I got a half hour before my fight with Gaara, so I'm going to get ready. Hokage Monument, in Naruto's mindscape. Okay, can I ask about his abilities? Asked Naruto as he sat on the edge of Kurama's area. Well, we've both seen the redhead use sand, but being a Jinchuriki, he can also transform into a half form, maybe even a full form of Shukaku. Lucky for you, the best way to slow him down, maybe even stop his sand attacks completely, is to soak it with water. So all I need to do is soak his sand with water. No, soaking the sand with water will only slow down the movement of that sand. The best thing to do if he doesn't go half of full form would be to break that gourd on his back and drench his sand with water, then attack as fast as possible, dodge the slower sand, and beat the shit out of the kid. And if he goes half or full form, what then? Do you have a massive sword on your back? If he goes half form, soak him with water and hack away. If he goes full form, I guess we're going to find out just how much chakra you can handle. What was your last max out? 12% flow rate. That's what I could use 2 days ago. That should be just about enough for the lower 6 tails. You're still not skilled enough with the tailed beast chains to help at all. How is the tailed beast bomb coming? With Gaara. What's he planning? We were supposed to begin when you beat the Uchiha? Questioned Kankuro, confused that the invasion had yet to start. It does not matter. I get to fight Uzumaki in 10 minutes. He will be the one to test my power, stated Gaara, his tone dangerous and his eyes bloodshot. What's so special about the Uzumaki? You tossed the Uchiha around like he was nothing, so why would the blonde be any different? Asked Baki, who on top of being confused about the invasion not starting, was also confused about Gaara's choice of target. He was supposed to target the strong Jonin, not some punk that got lucky versus a Hyuga. My choices are none of your concern. Just know that I choose he is the one I will fight. This invasion is not my priority. Arena floor. Naruto appeared in a red blur, or as he called it, a Kurama Shunshin, as it was a simple Shunshin that he used the Biju's chakra for. He looked around, seeing that not everyone was in their seats yet, he decided look around to see where everyone was. Jiraiya was still standing next to the old man, figures, he would either be there or at a hot spring. Kakashi was staring at him, no doubt either still in shock from his new look, that he beat Neji or some other pointless thing, or perhaps he was angry about Naruto winning when Sasuke, his star pupil, had not. Oh well, he didn't care. He was already off of Team 7 anyway, he wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. Sakura had yet to notice he was on the arena floor, that or she just didn't care. She too was most likely angry that he had beaten Neji when Sasuke had lost. Ino was staring at him with the same look she always gave Sasuke, which he had to admit, he wasn't sure if that was a good or bad thing. Tenten, Guy and Lee were all aware of his presence but were all talking amongst themselves, most likely how he had beaten their strongest member. Shikamaru and Shino had made their way back to their respective teams and senseis, and were either congratulated for his loss, or in Shino's case, was listening to the idle conversation around him. Genma appeared next to him, a kind smile on his face. "Don't worry kid, I got your back if this heads south. You're one of the few that do. Thank you for that," stated Naruto calmly and kindly. "You know kid, you're nothing like I remember from before last month. I'm kinda diggin' it, but you should still pull a prank every now or then," smiled Genma as he balanced a Senbon in his lower lip. Naruto was about to respond when he felt a huge swelling of negative emotions flare up roughly 15 feet from him. He turned and looked at the spot Gaara appeared. Did he sense me? Not even Baki can sense me. You definitely will be the one to challenge me, thought Gaara with a maniacal grin. Let's start this now, I will not wait any longer. Oh shit, I hope you're as strong as you look kid, thought Genma, the first fight of the second round. Naruto Uzumaki vs Gaara of the Desert. Are both fighters ready? Both nodded, waiting for the fight to begin. Begin. Gaara lashes out with a sand spear aimed at the blonde's heart, which he blocked with the flat of his sword before he spun around and chopped at the side of the red head, only for a wall of sand to block it before Naruto retreated from another sand attack. How is the ground completely dry? There was a foot of water on it when I left. Oh well. Water style. Great collision wave. Naruto once again blasted a torrent of water out of his mouth, aimed at the sand using Jinchuriki. Gaara blocked the powerful water attack, though found his sand was much harder to control, forcing him to use far more chakra and concentration to use, as well as reacting slower. Water style. Hidden mist jutsu. Kakashi and company. That's Zabuza's jutsu, cried out Sakura, shocked to see the jutsu she almost died in. He doesn't seem to have the same control over it that Zabuza did, thought Kakashi out loud. Asuma, can you see into the mist? Questioned Guy. No, the kid made it even thicker than Kushimaru's. How much chakra does he have? Arena. Gaara was starting to panic. His sand was becoming almost impossible to control and he couldn't make any more due to the fact that the ground was covered in water. Add the fact he could no longer see or hear his opponent, which should be impossible as they were standing on water, and you have one frightened redhead. 1, 2. I'm coming for you, sounded a demonic Naruto from everywhere at once. Everything was silent as they felt chills crawl up their spine. 3, 4. I'm coming back for more. Gaara suddenly felt his sand struggle to his back, barely blocking a heavy blow from the blonde's giant blade that would have cut the Suna Jinchuriki in half. 5, 6. Throw some blood in the mix. Gaara, fearing another strike, began coating himself in his drenched sand, trying his best to shake the water out of it so that he could use it more effectively. 7, 8. Death is your fate. A vicious killing intent rolled out of the mist, turning the chill crawling up everyone's spine turned into a blade of ice stabbing into their hearts. 9, 10. The sound of metal slashing into earth sounded. Gaara felt a pain in his left bicep. He looked to see the giant blade stuck about an inch into the sand, blood running down the face of the giant cleaver. He followed the blade and saw his opponent holding it. Let's play again. Naruto ripped the blade free as he slid it along the wound, forcing Gaara to shriek in pain. Blood. It's my blood. I'll kill you. Everyone was now confused as to what was going on inside the mist, as all most had been hearing was a demon singing some kind of nightmare tune, though some Jonin could hear the footsteps on the water, even eyed just barely, and were very impressed that a genin had so much stealth. Naruto felt another great wave of negative emotions as muck started growing up from the ground, surrounding the injured redhead. Sending some more of Kyuubi's chakra to his eyes, he saw that Gaara now had his whole left side covered in wet sand, his left eye was now a gold diamond with a black backdrop. Suddenly, the mist exploded outward as the Shukaku-induced Gaara flared his chakra, as well as drying the sand around him. Come Uzumaki. Make me feel alive. Naruto knew the fun and games were over and began channeling Kurama's chakra throughout his body, going straight to the maximum amount he knew he could handle. His body was encased in a red, almost orange glow as his cloak billowed in a non-existent wind. He was going to end this right now. Naruto shot forward at low Jonin speed, but had to dodge a sand that extended out towards him. He spun, cutting it off as he moved quickly towards the sand-covered shinobi. He watched as the sand that had made up the arm returned quickly to Gaara and began to coat his left side, encasing most of Gaara's torso in sand. Naruto saw that Gaara was getting out of control. Sending another chop at the injured arm of the Chunin, Naruto began leading him out of and away from the stadium. Shit. I can't put everyone in danger if he goes full-blown Shukaku. I need to lead him away, thought Naruto as he lunged and punched the wall on the opposite side of the spectator boxes, blowing out a large section of the wall and began running. Where are you going, Uzumaki? Don't you run from me, shouted Gaara as he took the bait, following Naruto out of the stadium and up the face of the Hokage monument. With Hiruzen, Keisuke Dono, what exactly is going on? Questioned the Hokage in a neutral tone, even though on the inside he was quite pleased. That was fantastic. I still have chills up my spine. My word, what a great intimidation tactic. I believe someone should be added to the bingo book. It appears that Gaara is embracing his inner demon and that your shinobi has led him away from the city. Quite the ninja you have there, stated the Keisuke, silently questioning why Orochimaru hadn't signaled the invasion yet. And if my shinobi cannot stop your son? Questioned Hiruzen. Even if Naruto had improved greatly, he was still going up against a Biju-crazed genin. Then I shall step in. Do not worry, Hokage Dono, I won't let my son hurt any of your shinobi other than the one currently fighting him, lied the Keisuke, sending a glare at Orochimaru. Yaki's good, but I don't think he's good enough to stand up to an enraged Jinchuriki, stated Jiraiya. If things go south, I will be saving my apprentice. Jiraiya then took off, along with Genma, following the two boys up the Hokage monument. Go make sure he doesn't try anything until the fight is over. It would not look good for us if our best genin was beaten, stated the Keisuke, though his tone said, make sure you don't this up. Orochimaru, who was hidden as a masked guard to the left of the Keisuke, simply nodded and followed his old teammate to the top of the Hokage monument. Perfect, even if Gaara doesn't kill him, I still can. Then I can start the invasion and finally kill Sarutobi-sensei. With Kakashi and company. That was the single most frightening thing I have ever experienced, stated Ino, her voice finally coming back to her. Why is he running away? He could have beat him, questioned Kiba, still sweating from the demonic lullaby the blonde had sang. Please, if Sasuke-kun couldn't beat him, the Naruto Baka can't either, stated Sakura, though her shaking shoulders and frightened tone showed clearly that even she didn't believe what she was saying. You're both wrong, stated Shikamaru. Naruto isn't running, he's led him away so that innocent people don't get hurt. And Naruto is much stronger than Sasuke. He always has been. Even in the academy, Naruto always improved at the same rate Sasuke did. even though Naruto had no one to learn from outside of school and was always taught wrong by the instructors. Yay, right. Sasuke was Rookie of the Year, stated Sakura, her voice back to its usually tone, though she was still shuddering every few seconds. And who was it that managed to prank every teacher? Who was it that was escaping Anbu at the age of 10? Who was it that somehow managed to pass every class, even though the teachers made him sit out of every single important lesson we ever had?